Hi, it's Barry here from the Bournemouth Crypto Group. Now, I thought I would do a brief video to hopefully try and explain two very important aspects of Bitcoin that a lot of people find very confusing. The finite supply of Bitcoins and the Bitcoin block mining reward halving. Now, I'm recording this video on the 1st of May 2019, and that date will become quite significant later on during this video. Now, although at first they both seem very confusing concepts, once you take the time to really learn how they work, you'll understand the huge potential of Bitcoin and how valuable just one Bitcoin could become in the future. And it really is just simple mathematics. And once you get it, you'll appreciate the genius of the Bitcoin creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, or indeed they are. First of all, let's look at the finite supply. Now, most people understand that there can only be 21 million Bitcoins ever created. And the best way to look at this is to go to a great website, coinmarketcap.com. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so here we are at coinmarketcap.com, a really good resource. You'll see that it's currently showing 2,141 cryptocurrencies. But of course, we're just interested in Bitcoin. Shows the price in dollars at currently $5,379. And it shows a circulating supply of 17,676,012 Bitcoins. Now, this is in fact very misleading. And I'm going to show you on the next slide why that is. For the sake of simple mathematics, we're going to take it at 17.5 million Bitcoins. So we've seen from coinmarketcap.com that over 17.5 million Bitcoins have been mined during the course of the last 10 years. Now, it's estimated that between 2 to 4 million Bitcoins have been lost. Now, these are coins that are gone forever. They can never be recovered. It's human nature that if something has no value, then it tends not to be looked after. And of course, in the early years of Bitcoin, it had no value. So the miners, people that mined Bitcoin in those early years, their laptops maybe crashed, broke, they were discarded, passwords, private keys for wallets were lost, and you know, these coins are gone forever. So we'll call it, say, 3 million coins that will never come back onto the marketplace. It's also estimated that there's around 5 million Bitcoins that are held. These are held by large financial institutions, very wealthy Bitcoin investors, and these will stay in wallets and are very, very unlikely to come back onto the marketplace. It's also estimated that Satoshi Nakamoto himself mined around 1 million Bitcoins. Now, these were held or are held in his wallets, and you know, apparently his wallet has never been moved, not since 2010. And of course, this has led to speculation that Satoshi Nakamoto himself may indeed be dead. And if this is the case, it's very unlikely that anybody could gain access to his wallet. So again, those Bitcoins gone forever. So this leaves 8.5 million Bitcoins in circulation, nowhere near the 17.5 million Bitcoins that was shown on CoinMarketCap.com. So that leaves 3.5 million Bitcoins left to mine, which would give a total supply of around 12 million Bitcoins, not very many. Now, it's estimated that within 5 years, there's going to be around 50 million millionaires in the world. And if that proves to be the case, it means that there won't be enough Bitcoins, or just about enough Bitcoins, for each of these millionaires to own 1/4 of a Bitcoin. And I would think that millionaires would want a lot more than that. And of course, I'm not even going to talk about the estimated 2,000 billionaires in the world. So let's move on now to what I consider is the genius of Satoshi Nakamoto, the Bitcoin block reward halving. Now, to understand this, you do need to appreciate the mining that takes place and how that works. I'm going to deal with that possibly in another video. So just accept that every 210,000 blocks, and a block consists of thousands of Bitcoin transactions. These transactions are verified by the miners and they receive a block reward. So every 210,000 blocks which are mined, which approximately takes 4 years, the block reward which the miners receive is halved. So if we go back to the very first block that was mined by Satoshi Nakamoto himself, it was called the Genesis block, and it was mined on the 3rd of January 2009, so just over 10 years ago. The block reward that he received was 50 Bitcoins, and in fact, 50 Bitcoins were paid every 10 minutes to the miners. That equals 7,200 Bitcoins every 24 hours. Now, once 210,000 blocks were mined, and that happened on the 28th of November 2012, the block reward was halved from 50 Bitcoins to 25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes, or 7,200 Bitcoins every 24 hours to 3,600 Bitcoins every 24 hours. Once 420,000 blocks were mined, and that took place on the 9th of July 2016, the reward halved again to 12.5 Bitcoins every 10 minutes, or 1,800 Bitcoins every 24 hours. And that's what it is today. 12.5 Bitcoins every 10 minutes are rewarded to the miners. Once 630,000 blocks have been mined, which is due to take place just over a year from now, we're talking about the middle of May 2020, the reward will be halved again to 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes, 900 Bitcoins every 24 hours. So you can see just how the supply of Bitcoin is being restricted. Now, there's going to be 64 halvings in total. We've only had 2. The last Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140. So that's 121 years' time. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, we're not going to be around to see that. the amazing thing is that by the year 2030, which is not that far away, 98% of all Bitcoins will have been mined, leaving only 420,000 Bitcoins left to mine. So you can see how supply and demand is going to sort of kick in, and the next halving, which, as I say, will take place in May 2020, is going to really have a huge significance on the price of Bitcoin. And in this chart, we can see the effects that the block reward halving has had on the price history. During the first 4 years, 10.5 million Bitcoins were mined. And at the first halving on the 28th of November 2012, the price of one Bitcoin was $12.22. During that 4-year period, only 5,250,000 Bitcoins were mined. The price at the second halving on the 9th of July 2016 was $657.61. And during this halving period, only 2,625,000 Bitcoins are due to be mined. The third halving, as you saw in the previous chart, is due to take place mid-2020. Only 1,312,000 Bitcoins will be mined. And the price, well, you know, your guess is as good as mine, but there's no reason why this price graph won't continue to increase, because again, it all comes down to supply and demand. If you'd like to find out more about the Bitcoin block reward halving, then I suggest you look at a couple of websites. This is a very good one, bitcoinclock.com. This one estimates the date as the 20th of May, 2020. And you can see that it confirms the number of blocks until the halving takes place, 55,925. Again, it explains what is the Bitcoin halving, the significance, lots of charts here, and how the halving affects the price, even a few videos of some block reward halving parties. Okay, so that is bitcoinclock.com. There's another one here called bitcoinblockhalf.com. It's actually got a countdown clock on it. This one's predicting the 23rd of May. And again, lots of technical information you can find out here.